you work so hard for these things, and then it just comes. You don't feel like it's happening.
Welcome to Sri Lankan Cricket Podcast. Today I'm going to have a chat with Fion Hand. He's down in Sri Lanka playing against Sri Lanka in a test series. They didn't have the best of times in the first test, but they had 2 days off. Welcome to Sri Lankan Cricket Podcast, Fion.
Yeah, happy to be on. Thanks, Vida, for getting me on. Sri Lanka so far has been magnificent. It's a very picturesque place. It's beautiful. Never thought I'd ever come here, and I'm very happy that I'm here. Right at this time, it's beautiful. Too hot though.
Yeah, it is hot. I mean, I've seen during the test match, Ireland players were struggling, even the Sri Lankan players were struggling. So I'm not surprised that you're finding it hot. Not the best of the games in the first test, Fion.
Yeah, I think for us guys, we've obviously played a test a week or two before we came to Sri Lanka, so we're obviously getting back into the test match sort of side of the game, which is completely different, as shown from the first couple of days against Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Just trying to find our feet. It's obviously difficult when the locals are finding it hot for us to even come here and find extreme conditions. But hopefully, looking on to the second test, that we can sort of put them excuses to bed and try and give it a good whack from there.
Normally, when a team to Sri Lanka, they play in goal, then they go to Colombo and play another test match. But you guys have to play in goal again, so maybe you can go more prepared because now you know what to expect in goal. So hopefully a better game for you in the second test. Hopefully I'll like to see you play in the second test. Maybe you might have to start bowling spin to get a game.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, look, I think I didn't coming here. I didn't think the toss would have such an impact on how the game would like come out as such. But now I realize just from being here how important the toss is. I didn't really think of it before. I thought you just did the toss and then whatever happens, you adapt and try and go about the scenario or the situation there and then, and how you're going to plan and go about it. But it actually has such a huge impact. Like day one for us was obviously tough. We fielded for 90 overs. Um, I felt a bit bad for Madushka. Obviously, he was out for 29, but Dimuth and Mendez just took the game away from us. I think going out to bat and you're 570 or 80 runs behind as a batsman, it's sort of already in your head as such. And the Sri Lankan fielders can obviously come in a bit tighter and squeeze the field, which is obviously where we went under pressure. But kudos to them; they bowled really well. Jai Surya, he didn't really miss his length at all. And even the seamers bowled very well up top to our lads. And I just hopefully we can learn from that. Once we learn from that, and get better for it, that's the way we want to go. But if we repeat what we had done, I think we'd be very disappointed going home from here, not taking it what happened in the first test.
Yeah. Now Fiona and we go years back. First time I met Fion, that was in Australia. He came down to play for Preston. We played together for a season. He was young.
We didn't meet on the cricket pitch though. We met in someone's garden doing some gardening work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
On a 35-degree day. First day for me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's right. I remember telling you that this is nothing compared to Sri Lanka. Now you know how it is.
Now I know,
It's
yes.
different.
Now I know. 100%.
Yeah.
I know it now.
No, I mean, that was 6 years ago. You went to a training session with Sri Lanka when the Sri Lanka test team was touring Australia. It's funny how now
Yes,
you're
yes.
in with the Ireland team and you're about to play your first test match. So hopefully it'll be the second test. But you already played white ball cricket for Ireland. As I said, we go long back. We talked when we played that season, all we did was talk about cricket, Fion. So I
Yeah,
know how passionate you are about cricket, and you talked about your dreams, and you haven't achieved all of them yet, but you're on your way to do it. So I wanna know about your early years of cricket, Fion.
yeah.
How you started, how you fell in love with cricket.
Yeah, so back in Ireland in primary school, like 11, 12, we sort of just played it to get out of class, really. I was playing football more so at the same time. Yeah, so it was just more so to get out of class during the summer, the summer period. And then when I was 13, 14, joined the local cricket club, and that's pretty much where I spent most of my summer, trying to trying to stay out of trouble as well. So we're always there. We're playing football on the cricket pitch or cricket all day, watching or traveling to games. Sort of started off like that, and then sort of had to choose. We went to South Africa 2015 for 3 months, which was when I was in fourth year, which I was 15 or 16. Went for 3 months with three other Irish guys, and I absolutely loved it. Was hoping to try and stay on, but it couldn't happen. Um, and then 2016, actually, sorry, this summer, I went over to England again on sort of a similar program, but to England between April and July, and played cricket for the school there, Queen's College in Taunton,
Oh yeah.
and done really well in class and on the pitch, and I got a sports and academic scholarship to go back to fulfill my exams, my A levels or um, leaving cert, whatever you want to call it, and sort of just went from there. And they had great facilities over there, and I could train whenever I wanted. Was lucky enough to have a couple of teachers that played cricket, um, like Jake Lintock. Currently, he was a teacher of mine, um, and a couple of others that sort of knew the Somerset people. Um, and I was lucky to get down and train with the first team and the academy and the under 19s, um, and sort of helped me where I am now and how I got that. And it was quite an interesting decision when I was on my last year of school. Ireland got test status, and I sort of had the
Yes.
conversation with the coaches, one of the coaches of the second team at Somerset. I was wondering like what should I do, and like I want to play cricket like professionally. It's obviously tougher in Ireland. There's not as many teams. There's obviously not as many players also. Um, but he sort of pulled me aside and said, "Look, Test cricket's the top of the game, and that's where you want to be. You want to put yourself in the shop window, and you want to play Test cricket." And he sort of as gave me advice, and Aaron Supire, who was my teacher as well, who had a very influential time with me. Uh, and they sort of just pushed me, tried to push me back to try and break into the Ireland team. It was quite tough at the time, and there wasn't many changes. A lot of older players in there
Yeah.
that may have only recently retired, so it didn't seem like it was a bright future ahead. With the A team game sort of filled in with the first team guys because they didn't have enough fixtures, and then county championship, county system was taken away from the Irish players. So
Yep.
it was sort of there was light at the end of the tunnel, but it was sort of a closed. It was nearly a closed tunnel at one or 2 points. But look, I just stuck at it, and just as I said, when as soon as I came over from England 2018, I went straight to Australia. Sort of grew my independence through school. Obviously met Vida. And as you say, we spoke about cricket, we spoke about everything while working together, playing together, different thoughts. Um, Luckily to get in, play or train with Sri Lanka when they're over there for the tests, and train with the Renegades, which all of this adds up in the path that I've been on so far, and hopefully it's not the end.
No, no. I mean, you knew where you want to be, and that's what I saw from you. Like you had a clear goal, I want to achieve this, and you're working towards it. So I'm very happy for you as a friend, and you were in the system. I mean, you were with the Ireland development Scott, I think, at that
Yeah,
time.
the academy side, yeah, would have been
Academy side.
yeah, a few academy trips would have been to like Scotland or to play a County Two side.
Yep.
Nothing too major, but it was just more cricket. We're always trying to search for more cricket, which is the hardest thing in Ireland at the minute is trying to find more cricket. But now with the schedule of international cricket, people getting picked up in competitions, there's a lot more cricket. There's people need rest, people get injured, also everything to do with any sport or a sports person, and sort of just luckily got my chance last year. Got brought into the squad against New Zealand T20 series up in
Yeah.
Stormont, and sort of just went in with an open mind, had nothing to lose. You hear guys sometimes getting big players talking to coaches saying this guy's really good just from facing him in the nets, or has that something different? You see it all the time in IPL. Mathish, I think his name is. He was obviously bowling in the nets. He wasn't playing. He was playing Ranji
Yeah.
Trophy. Wasn't picked up in the IPL as a rookie, and now he's playing first team. I think, and it can go very fast. So I think having an open mind is definitely the best way to go about it instead of trying to take all this feedback on board and getting in a sort of a knotted situation in your head because cricket can be very in your head a lot of the time. So
Mm.
it's how you deal with that, I think.
Yeah. It's easy to talk about, but when you go out there, it's a bit different. So,
Yes, 100%.
how did you find out? How did you find out about, you're going to debut for Ireland, and how did you feel when?
Yeah, I think yeah, obviously I got brought into the squad because there was an injury, unfortunately, to one of the guys. So sort of lucky in that way, getting brought into the squad. Done enough, as I said, showed enough to hope for that the coach has seen, and I sort of stayed in the squad for them 3 games. Didn't play the 3 games against New Zealand. Went to Bristol, played. There was 2 games against South Africa. Didn't feature in them, and then 2 games into the Afghanistan series in Stormont, we were 2-0 up in the series with 5 games, and then the night before, I was just the evening of the night before, I got a knock on my door, and Andrew Balbirnie walked in and just like was like, "You're playing," and I didn't believe him at one point. I just elated, like I didn't know really know what to do. I was hugging him and jumping up and down. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Like you work so hard for these things, and then it just comes. You don't feel like it's happening. But on the day of the game, people are like, "Oh, you're nervous." I don't really get nervous. It was just so much fun to be out there. There was times where I'm coming on to bowl, um, in the power play, but what sort of had some luck for me was I got my first wicket in my first over or my second over. And that
Yes.
sort of chilled the nerves and channeled the nerves as such. And then got a catch and the confidence went up from there. And then I came into bat and it was just I'd done so much preparation in the 5 to 6 games before that in the nets with Gary Wilson and Heinrich Milan. And I was just so prepared when I went out there. And to do what I done on my debut was incredible. Like two world records was crazy. I didn't think about going out there to do that. It just happened, and it was just unfortunately we got the loss. But I think that there was a lot of positives from that, and for us to win that series is huge against Afghanistan. They've always been close rivals, no matter where we play in the world, no
Mm.
matter what competition we're playing in, and it was just unbelievable. And yeah, I just sort of just went on it from there, really, and that's just how it happened. That's yeah.
Now, for the listeners who don't know, like Fion is all rounder. He's not only a bowler; he can hit big sixes. He's very good against spin as well. So, and there's a lot of T20 cricket happening all around the world. You must be watching IPL, keeping a close look at what's
Yeah,
going on there. And I know you want to play Test cricket. I know that for a fact. But what are your ambitions for the next few years?
My ambitions for next year is to play. I'm sort of on the fringe of the squad or the playing 11. Say I'm in the 15, so I want to be a sort of household name, as you say. I want to be that Paul Sterling who's on the team sheet, first on the team sheet, no
Mm.
matter it, unless he's injured per se. Um, but obviously it's exciting from an international schedule. It's really exciting. Obviously, the World T20 World Cup in Australia was just amazing to be there, but to play beat England on my first World Cup
Yeah.
game, unbelievable. I played against England, then New Zealand, Australia, the top three teams I played against. And although I may have not done as well as I should have done, but to have banked that experience for the next time is definitely gonna hopefully fall to me at some point in my
Mm.
experiences in cricket.
So now the English summer is just about to get underway. So when you go back from Sri Lanka, is there you gonna play a few test matches, or I haven't seen the schedule, so
Yeah,
because
yeah, we go to England to play Bangladesh
yeah,
in Essex, and we have to win that series 3-0,
uh,
um, get 30 points to qualify automatically. So yeah, so I think a couple of guys are eager to get home and sort of start preparations for that as soon as they can. It's obviously tricky. It's we're home and then it's 5 or 6 days and off again. Um, but the lads know it's on the line there. Like qualification to India for a 50 over World Cup is unbelievable, which is in November.
mm,
Um, it's obviously going to be tough. They beat us 2-0 in Bangladesh just there in their own conditions. So we feel like we have a chance. We played them. I think the guys are sick of looking at Shakib Al Hassan, all their bowlers and their batters, Litton Das. So I think we'll be much well prepared and more in our conditions, hopefully in our favour as well. So yeah,
yeah,
we're looking forward to that. And then if that doesn't go our way, then we go to Zimbabwe, or we have a 3-day game against Essex, a warm-up game before the Lord's Test on the 1st of June, which is obviously a big test for any Irish person or any cricket fan uh, on the islands. But then after that, it's straight to Zimbabwe if things don't go our way in Chelmsford, and a grueling process of qualification. Two teams only go through, some high class teams like Sri Lanka there, Zimbabwe, West Indies, uh, so many teams, and there's only two spots up for grabs. So it's gonna be tough, but we know what to expect. We're in Zimbabwe in January, so we played there. We know what to expect.
mm,
Yeah, and we just need that bit of luck. It's like most teams are gonna need that bit of luck at some point in the
yeah.
tournament.
It's a tough group. There's so many good teams in there.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka has to do so well to qualify. I mean, we are in a well, it's our fault we are in that well, so we'll have to crawl out of that out of the
Yes,
hole we
that's
dug ourselves. Many Ireland players have come down and played for England. And are you looking to play for a county, or
I
you
think
get
at
a
this
chance to play for
stage,
England? Will you go for that?
I don't think I'd be. I don't think I'd have to wait maybe 3 years if I was to do that. I think it's a. Although I'm young, but I don't see that in my future as of yet. But I haven't really thought about that sort of side of things. But I'm hoping I'm staying and playing cricket for Ireland for as long as I can. Really.
Hmm. That Lord's Test match can change things. Double hundred and 10
Yeah,
wickets.
that Lord's Test match would be obviously the test on Monday here. I may or may not play, but as a seam bowler, it's harder to play here. But in Lords, that's where you want to be a seam bowler.
Yeah.
If you ask most of the seamers around the world, um, with the slope and Duke's ball, all the conditions potentially in a bowler's favour. But who knows? It's a month and a bit away, so it's definitely something to look forward to. Try and stay in the squad for the test match and sort of just go from there. And yeah, we'll see. We'll find out very soon. Fairly soon. Like.
Now, when you went back to Ireland just before the season, I've seen you starting this new business venture.
Yes,
Obviously,
yes.
while you were down in Australia, we used to buy, I don't know, sometimes three, four coffees a day because the days
In
were long,
7-Eleven.
we
Yeah,
were working all day. So
yeah,
obviously you love your coffee and you went and opened a coffee shop. What's the story behind
yeah.
Bula
So
Bula? Is
obviously,
it Bula Bula?
I did Kula Bula, yeah,
Bula
Kula
Bula,
Bula.
yeah.
It's called. Yeah, yeah. We obviously found my love for coffee in Australia. Obviously, going down to 7-Eleven, getting a dollar coffee 3 or 4 times a day before work. Probably stemmed that love for it. But yeah, I just 2021, obviously playing interprovincial cricket. There wasn't much happening in the Irish stuff. Um, and I sort of said like I'd love to try and do that. And I was working in a restaurant and a cafe while I was in college, and I just learned how to make coffee for 3 months in a well-known brand, Cafe Nero, and sort of was just like, actually, I think I can try to do this by myself. So I was always looking to start my own business, and yeah, I just started my own coffee trailer, and it's open when I'm not there. So that's a good
Oh, that's
sign.
good.
So yeah. So yeah, it's just a different side of thing. I like being very entrepreneurial and going about different business ventures. And I know it can't always be cricket, cricket, cricket. It has to be sort of a balance between on the pitch and off the pitch. So I just tried to make something uh, that that was needed in a place in my club back home. So it
Yeah.
just went with
Which
it, and
which
it's still go,
which
still
club
going.
is this?
This is Clontarf Cricket Club.
Ah, Contact. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you're
yeah,
around, just go and check it out. Fion's
yeah.
coffee. Yeah.
Yes, open on the weekends, no problem.
Yeah. Um, I know you're close to your family, your sisters and your mother. It's very important to have a support network when you're trying to achieve anything in your life. So, what sort of support they're giving you, and the importance of having people around you to support you?
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, my parents obviously the way they grew up, it was more they leave school and work straight away in that sort of era back in Ireland. And they would have loved to go into college, but they knew they also had to put food on the table as well. So I think given the where we are in the world now, is they would have helped me a lot. My parents would have helped me a lot. It definitely would have been a lot down to them. They would have given anything for me to be doing what I'm doing right now. And hopefully one day I can pay them back. Now they were out. My sister and my mom were out in Sri Lanka here. Um, they won't be here for the next test. So if I was to debut, they wouldn't be here. But
Oh,
look, they would love for me to debut, even if they weren't here. They'd be watching on TV, roaring and shouting at the television. Um, but yeah, so I wouldn't be where I am today without my family um, at at this stage.
yeah, you're a good man, Fion. Yeah, it's a shame if you get your test cap and your mom and your sister won't be there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't plan for every event, I
Yeah, yeah.
suppose. Yeah,
Um,
so but it's a different game, isn't it? It's a different game.
yeah, yeah,
Like we would only be finishing tomorrow if we went the full 5 days,
yeah.
and like 2.5 days on, 2 days off is quite a long time to be off, just smoke around or trying to get out of the hotels, like going surfing or swimming with
Mm.
turtles and all that amazing stuff that you can do here that you probably couldn't do at home. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long 2 months away so far, but it's just what you got to do, isn't it?
Mm.
Hopefully you
Goal
get
is a
some chance.
Goal is a
Hopefully you
lovely
get some chance.
place. There are so many
Yeah, it's
places.
beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Definitely, like every morning we're literally on the sea. Like it's
Yeah.
so mad, so bizarre. Yeah, well, hopefully if there's any franchises I can get into, that's just where I'm going to get better. I think an all rounder, like chatting to these guys, bowling to these guys, batting against these guys. That's the thing.
Mm.
So hopefully, if I can sort of wiggle my way in there, go from there. Really.
Yeah. No, no. You're doing all good things, Fiona. I mean, it's upward from here because you're very committed. I know that for a fact. Good luck if you get to play your first test match in Sri Lanka. Sorry, I can't be there, but
I know.
I mean, you're
I
in my
know.
country, and if I was there, I
You're
would
not
have
there.
taken you out, and yeah, but yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah.
Um,
When does the Lankan League start? Soon,
that
no? Or in a
is,
bit?
I think that's in July, August.
July. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
coming up shortly, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be class. Yeah.
You
Be nice
might,
to come back if I was
they
able
might, they
to.
might get you. They might get you. Goal
That'd be
Gladiators.
nice. Yeah. Call Gladiators.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
class. That'd be
yeah,
unreal. But even
yeah.
if I was just to come and train and you know what I mean, just train, as I said, train and bat against these guys to
Mm,
get better. But yeah, that's if you get better, then hopefully you get picked up and
yeah.
the world's your oyster. Like.
No. You're not far from that, thank you so much for joining me today.
No
Um,
problem.
yeah, I hope you have a good time in Sri Lanka. And thanks for listening, everyone, and people watching on YouTube as well. So we'll see you next time. Thank you. Do you get net bowlers at all or no?
Get like two or three maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Good ones or not?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
There was
don't seem
one.
like good ones.
No, no. There was one that was like a flicks it,
Yeah,
but like
Matisha,
literally bowling like huh? Yeah, like that,
like
and was
Matish.
like literally bowling half trackers. He's like, but he'd obviously been bowling to the first group as well, so he was literally like dying. All the
Yeah.
all the net bowlers are under the tree, like dying with pouring water over them. We're like, geez, like if they think it's hot, then it must be absolutely roasting them at
How's the
home. I
body?
don't. Yeah, it's grand,
Oh, that's
grand.
good.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it was. I had in Bangladesh. I had a good conversation with Alan Donald,
Oh, yeah.
and he gave me such confidence. He was like, why aren't you playing? Like he obviously seen me in the bowling and on the strip and stuff, and bowling at half time in the games. And he was like, why aren't you playing? He was like, gee, you've got such a nice action, lovely
Yeah.
snap. Like you've got something that a lot of players
Walks.
in world cricket
Chris
don't
walks.
have. Yes, yes. He was like, you've got something a lot of players don't have in the world. And I was like, geez, like obviously, like I didn't grow up watching cricket, but the guys talk about him like he's a god, like he's like the one of the
Right.
best bowlers ever.
Oh,
And if
he was
he's
quick.
yeah, and if he and like I had a beer with him, like I didn't ask him for a beer. I was just having a chat with one of the other coaches who brought me for a beer,
Yeah.
Nathan Horrocks, who obviously played for Australia
Oh,
off
yeah.
spinner,
All spinner.
and yeah, and he was like, "Oh, Alan, do you actually fancy?" Just by coincidence, he was at the bar. He was like, "Can you come over here and like just chat to this young lad?" And it was amazing. And he gave me his number, and he's sending me voice messages.
Yeah.
He's like, "Send me videos like footage and like." And Nate's like, "This guy's like best bowler ever," and he's saying you're good. Like, I need to start like believing in myself, in my own ability instead of questioning it. I have been
Mm.
questioned a lot on this trip, like what I'm doing with my batting
Mm.
or that sort of stuff, what shots I'm playing, and it just creates doubt. The more you get questioned, the more it creates doubt
Yeah.
in your mind, and you're going into the net and you can't even hold the bat. Like you're like,
Yeah.
geez, I don't know what to think. You're not
No, you
watching the
need
ball. You get
bit of assurance, isn't it? Like pat in
yeah,
the back and
yeah,
say you're
assurance,
you're
yeah,
doing good things.
100%,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're not going to change something technically overnight. Like
No, no.
it's all upstairs. Like, but now I'm in a good place now to bat.